see the need. Lions and Leos, mixtape.
Leandra Lewis. I am the Cabinet Secretary Treasurer for Subdistrict 60B. I am the immediate past president of the Antigua Lions Club, and I have held every position except tamer, tail twister, probably marketing and service. I've been a lion for 7 years, going on 8, and I must say it has been quite an experience. So today we are going to be looking at building lions and Leos for excellence. Lion Dennis, you need to be sitting over here. Yes, it's not time for zone meeting, nor cabinet meeting. Today you are just a regular workshop attendee. All right, so looking at our objectives for today, we are going to develop goal setting skills for personal and service excellence, enhance communication for leadership success, understand ethics and embrace diversity, strengthen teamwork in service projects, and foster sustainable leadership for long-term impact. Now, this is a workshop, which means that I won't be doing much talking, and you will be doing a lot of writing and working. So make sure you have all of your writing pads and your pencils ready. Put on your thinking caps, everything, because you're going to be working. So we're going to first look at setting goals. And when we are setting goals, we need to use the SMART framework. And this ensures that goals for service projects are clear, they are trackable, and achievable. So below we have an example of a community cleanup project that follows the SMART criteria. So we're looking at first specific. Instead of saying we will improve our community, make it specific. So example, our Leo Club will organize a beach cleanup at Long Bay Beach to remove litter and raise awareness about pollution. Was that specific enough? It gives you what? Why was that specific? So it tells you exactly what you're going to do it, who is going to do it, where you're going to do it, and why you are doing it. It has to be measurable. So track progress and success. So ask, how will we measure success? An example would be, we will collect at least 500 pounds of trash and involve 30 volunteers in the cleanup effort. Then we look at achievable. Ensure it's realistic. You know, sometimes we love to set some wonderful goals and it's just not real. We just don't have the manpower. And it's going to take a very long time for you to achieve that. Make sure it's realistic. So it should be challenging, but possible with available resources. So we will partner with a local waste management company for trash disposal and secure sponsorship for gloves, bags, and refreshments. It must be relevant, meaning that you have to align it with your mission and your values. So the goal should align with the club's vision and community needs. The project supports our Leo Club's mission to promote environmental awareness and civic responsibility. And it has to be time bound. So set a deadline. You know, we always say we're going to do something, but no one wants to take up the responsibility to do it. So it just stays there and it just lingers in the universe for a very, very long time. And you're trying to figure out, when are we actually going to do this? We spoke about it at 6 general meetings and still no one ever bothered to start the process. So a goal without a timeline may be delayed indefinitely. So the beach cleanup will take place on April 22nd, Earth Day, and we will complete the project in 4 hours. So the complete SMART goal is our Leo Club will organize a beach cleanup at Long Bay Beach on April 22nd, collecting at least 500 pounds of trash with 30 volunteers. We will secure sponsorship for supplies and partner with a waste management company to ensure proper disposal. Does that sound like a SMART goal? Is it specific? Yeah. Is it measurable? Yes. Achievable, realistic, and time bound. So that is an entire project just written there for you in a space of 2 minutes. With any goal, there are short-term goals and there are long-term goals. And you must be able to distinguish between both. So a short-term goal will be something you aim to achieve in the near future, and that is within days, weeks, or a few months. While a long-term goal takes a longer period, several months to years, and often requires sustained effort. How many clubs have long-term projects? Sustainable projects, signature projects that they've been happening for years. Any clubs? Right. And you didn't just decide to do it overnight and then it became a success and you just drop it at the wayside. Because you see the value in it, you have committed to ensure that it is a sustainable long-term project. And then you do have short-term projects that are one-off. Persons come to you for financial assistance. People ask you to be a part of another project that they're doing. That is short-term, right? So within the next 3 months, our Lions Club will prepare a community garden by clearing land, gathering materials, and planting the first batch of vegetables. Now, this is a short-term goal. A long-term goal would be over the next 3 years, we will expand the garden, involve local schools in sustainable farming, and donate 500 pounds of fresh produce to families in need. So you started off with, you're preparing a community garden, and you realize that it has value. And so now you want to expand on it. And so now you're going to give yourself more time to further develop that project into a long-term sustainable project. So your first activity, my leadership roadmap. So you are going to write one service-related goal. Now, you have to think of a project that your club has never done before. Don't use a project that your club has done before. Think about how you would like to make an impact in your club. What are some of the needs in your community that you feel that the club needs to address? So you write one service-related goal, a project you would love to see get off the ground. And then you're going to use the SMART criteria to refine this goal. And you're going to outline strategies for overcoming challenges. Whatever you think might prevent the project from going forward, how do you combat that? So you're going to think of a project that your club has never done, that you believe that they should be focusing on, because what you're doing now, you are creating a project that you need to sell to your club members because you need them to buy in. So it starts with creating your SMART goal. So you're going to do that. And then you're going to use the SMART goal to refine that particular project and outline how you will overcome any challenges, because you know your club members. You already know what they're going to say. You already know how some of them will react. How are you going to prevent that? So you're going to cut them off at the pass. So I'm going to give you about 10 minutes to get that done. And those of you who are following on Zoom, you have to do this activity as well too. So don't think you're just going to be watching the presentation and not participating. So please, if you're on Zoom, you have an assignment to do as well. Okay. So I will take 2 examples. Who's a brave soul? Yay, let's go.
Thank you. Okay, so good morning, everyone. So from the Lions Club of St. George's, from our table, which, which happens to be 2 of us in the same club, what we looked at is actually one of our anniversary activities that we are possibly looking at for this year. We are celebrating 60 years in April, and is a program called Lose 60 for 60, where we'll be encouraging groups to come together to lose weight. And the goal is to lose 60 pounds in groups. So we said that it is specific because we want to lose 60 pounds as groups. So that's being specific. Measurable, because we want 10 groups, at least 10 groups, to lose a total of 60 pounds. So it doesn't matter. It could be 2 persons in a group, 3 persons in a group, etc. We're not going to specify the amount of persons in the group, but we know we're looking at about approximately 10 groups, losing a total of 60 pounds. We think it's attainable because one of the things that we're looking at doing is to partner with the community doctors and nurses that would help you along that goal to discuss eating patterns, health tips. We'd have the blood pressure and blood sugar checks along the way like we normally do when we have our health fairs and stuff like that, maybe once a month at least, to meet with them and provide encouragement and guidance. We think it's very relevant because it aligns with health-related goals, for example, diabetes, hypertension, etc. And we all know that in the Lions movement, we're very big on health because diabetes and stuff like that are very often some of our district governors' core areas. So we think it is relevant because it aligns with our whole Lions movement, Lions and Leo movement, and some of the things that we focus on, these non-communicable diseases and reducing them. And it is time bound because we know we're looking at 4 months. Thank you.
Any challenges you might encounter? What are some of the challenges you might encounter with this particular project?
Well, maybe some of the challenges might be to get in the groups to be committed, because we all know how we are, especially when it comes to these health-related things. Like, we get very excited and we're anxious to do it. And then within 2 tours, we start, and then we fall by the wayside. So we think that might be one of the challenges, getting the groups to actually be committed to it. Well, I think one of the things would be encouraging them. We have a lot of tech-savvy people. We can send out little messages of encouragement on WhatsApp and stuff like that, just to keep in touch with them and remind them, maybe send out little flyers, little newsletters, little emails. And then, of course, with the doctors and nurses that we want to partner with, we can have them, meet with them and communicate and give them continued encouragement. We think that's maybe the best we can do. Thank you.
Thank you. One more? Oh. Okay.
All right, so I'm Michael John from St. Vincent Lions Club South. So I'm representing St. Vincent here. So I need to put in a voice for St. Vincent. Right, so the specific is street kids, our specific goal is to get rid of the kids off the street in the city. The measurables are what we're going to do. We're going to have a head count of the existing kids that roam the street, and we're going to measure our achievement based on the reduction rate of the street kids. It's attainable because, as I said, it's something that you can do physically. You know what your goal is in terms of if there's 20 street kids and we want to attain getting rid of everyone off the street. In terms of the relevance, it's quite relevant because you know of the social issues. These kids, they lack in education, they're lacking good health, they're lacking, a good upbringing. So it's very relevant in terms of society, and we know the youth are our future. So we have to be very, very mindful in terms of taking care of them. Time bound. This process, we are looking to 3 to 6 months, because the thing about street kids is that they don't stay in the city all the time. So you might find a dozen this week, and they might go to another location, and then they will come back in a couple of weeks' time. So it's a monitoring process. It's something, so the time bound will be 3 to 6 months. We are also hoping to work with the police and the social department in order to help to achieve our goal.
Thank you. So what are some of the challenges you're going to encounter? Because you just said that they don't stay in one place. So you probably might be chasing them for more than 3 to 6 months, because you might be moving from city to city. So what type of programs are you hoping to implement to get them off the street completely?
All right, so we have the social welfare department, we have the police department, and we're gonna collaborate with them. As you said, we're gonna monitor them, try and get in contact with their parents, because these kids really have parents. It just means for some reason they may have left the home, maybe abused, or maybe, different reasons. So we're gonna try and make a connection with the parents. So that will help us. And as I mentioned before, these kids are always reluctant to be controlled. So that is one of the biggest challenge you will have. You will go try to get them, and they will run and so on. So that's one of the challenges. And that is where the police will come in, and their parents to some extent. Because the thing about these parents, it brings some pride to them as well when these kids are being captured, because we had a recent event that really shook me up, where one of the street kids got killed on the beach. And then when you hear the plight of the mother was saying, well, oh, she cannot control the boy, and when he comes home, she will try to keep him at home, and he'll run away back to meet his friends. So those are some of the challenges.
Okay, thank you. Oh, so this is connected, okay.
9 Capsec.
Okay, morning again. It's amazing that we were thinking along the same lines, because what we came up with is to have a series of training or engagements with parents of at-risk students. So our schools in our 2 communities, but in our 2 parishes, would identify the students who are considered problematic at school, students who the parents probably have given up on, teachers are confused, and they don't know what to do with them as well. So we're going to target the parents of these students, and we are going to have a series of training sessions. The training sessions will be practical sessions as well as theoretical sessions. So when we find them, we engage them in practical activities on the same day, and then we have the discussions. So we have a reason to come to that place. So they probably want to learn to make roti dough. We have a lion who is very good at that. So we're going to talk how to make roti dough. And while it's happening there, then we engage them in discussions. We have to find a reason to bring the parents to that place. And it's going to be an ongoing thing because it's going to take a while. Mhm.
Thank you, everyone who shared. So this is basically to give you the hands-on experience as to how you really trash out the different types of projects that you want to do. It's always good when you have it up here, but when you put it on paper, you realize the amount of time and effort it will take to bring it to reality. So when you have it in front of you, it also helps you to know the different resources and the different persons that you're going to need to bring along to make it happen. Now, you've already planned the project. Now you have to effectively communicate this to your club. And we all have several different personalities that we encounter on a daily basis. So where some persons might be encouraging, you always have the negative Nancy, you have the nonchalant, yeah, whatever you all want to do. I don't really care. I ain't coming anyway, so fine, you know? And you have those who are overly enthusiastic and they will run with it. And there are those who are very cautious, the ones who ask a lot of questions to get a clearer picture of what it is before they say, okay, well, yes, let's do this, right? So active listening is a crucial skill for leaders and members of Lions and Leo clubs because it fosters understanding, collaboration, and effective service delivery. It involves fully concentrating, understanding, responding, and remembering what is being said. So effective communication will strengthen communication and teamwork. Yes? Yes, it does. Because service projects will require you to collaborate among members, partners, and community members. So it's not just club members that you have to sell the idea to. You have to sell the idea to the community that you want to serve. You have to sell the idea to the business places that you want to partner with. They need to feel like they're making a good investment in being a part of whatever it is that you want to offer. Because if they don't see the need, then they're not going to give you their 100%. So it's not just selling the idea within the confines of your club, but you also have to sell the idea and effectively communicate that with your partners and the community you want to serve. Can you imagine you're planning a whole health fair for people who may be obese? But nobody bothered to advertise this wonderful health fair. And people walking along the streets of St. George's seeing all these tents for lions. And I'm like, but what really going on here today? And they just keep walking because nobody knew that you're offering free health services or communication. So you went and you got all these business places to donate money so they can get their name out there. And then at the end of it, only 50 people bothered to stop at your tent. You think that business place is going to give you their money next year? What benefit was it to them? They got no mileage, no coverage, and the community did not benefit from it at all. So it was a wasted effort. So effective communication strengthens communication and teamwork, and it also enhances problem solving and decision making. How many of you have ever had experiences where your club takes forever to make a decision? And it frustrates you to the point that you just don't even bother to bring it up again. How many past presidents we have in here? How many times your club frustrated you when it came to make a decision? Not even bothering to say noted. Nothing. And then you try to figure out, why am I even here? You know, why? Why? That's all you keep asking, why? It is not my club. It is our club. It is our project. And you take forever to make a decision. A business wants to partner with you for a project. They're willing to give you the money, and your board just cannot make a decision. You bring it to the membership. Well, you see, that kind of time, the ticklish for me, you know. Because Saturdays when I do my washing, and I don't even think I can make it. And I was planning to just relax on that day. And then they would jump up and say, yes, yes, we should do it because, you know, they're giving and we shouldn't make it look bad because they might not want to support us again. And then on the day, call me calling around, I don't feel too good now. I worked late last night, you know. I can't make it again. And 5 people in a club of 60-something people show up for a project. Sounds familiar? Okay, then. So, effective communication, it has to enhance problems. So how do we solve the problem of members who excited today, and when it comes to the actual project, they don't show up? Or board members or members who take forever to make a decision. So with effective communication, it will address these problems. It builds trust and stronger relationships. If you know from the get-go what is expected of you and what you are expected to do, it builds trust. Don't give piece of the information. And then halfway through, you say, oh, you know, I forget to tell you that so and so and so. And you're like, what? And then you're like, but no, this just changes the whole trajectory of things because this is not what the club represents. We can't be a part of this. So then from this point onward, anytime you tell them anything, they're going to take it with a grain of salt because you were never upfront. So people feel valued and respected when they know they are being heard. Because if you had given them all the information, they could have said, you know, I don't really think this is something that we should get involved with because it might come across like we're picking sides or, you know, we're supporting certain things that we should not be involved in as a club. So give people all the information, and it increases volunteer engagement and motivation. So members are more likely to participate actively when they feel heard and involved. Get them involved in the process. Don't just throw the information out there and expect them to be a part of it. Get them involved in the process. And it ensures community needs are being addressed effectively. Because had we known that this particular project was not going to go anywhere or would not have been beneficial to the community, we would not have wasted valuable time on something that would have been ineffective. And then the community would be at a loss because the real needs were not being addressed, and you would have wasted resources when you could have pumped it into something else. Yeah? No? So this is the Lion's approach to active listening. L, listen with full attention. So focus on the speaker without distractions. Show engagement through eye contact and nodding. No, not like that, Denisa. No, not like that. No. I is interpret the message clearly. So understand the speaker's words and emotions. Pay attention to tone, body language, and context to grasp the full meaning. It is always good that you paraphrase what the person has said, because then it gives the speaker the understanding as to whether or not you fully grasp what they were saying. And if there was any miscommunication, it gives them the opportunity to clarify, right? And then O is Observe and ask questions. Use open-ended questions to encourage deeper conversations. Paraphrase key points to confirm understanding. And N would be to nurture a supportive response. So respond thoroughly with empathy. Avoid interrupting or dismissing someone's concerns. How many of us would have experienced this? People just completely dismiss you. You say something and they don't even bother to respond. It's almost as if you didn't speak at all. And that is what turns a lot of people off. It's not so much that you did not get the information, but you have addressed the concern and you have asked the question and they don't even bother to respond. Or they respond in such a condescending tone that you have to wonder, did you wake up on the wrong side of the bed today? Do you need a hug? You know, what happened to you? All I did was ask a question, and responses like those will turn people off and they don't want to ask anything else. And then they just become disinterested. So this is the Lion approach to active listening. Now we come to ethics and diversity, which is always a big topic in any organization. Where do ethics draw the line? And how diverse are we as an organization? So our ethics will guide our decision making, leadership, and interactions with the organization and community. Ethical service ensures that all actions align with values of honesty, fairness, and accountability. When we look at diversity, diversity means welcoming people of all backgrounds, cultures, abilities, and perspectives. It enhances service effectiveness by bringing fresh ideas, broader community representation, and more inclusive solutions. How many of us live in communities where we have a Spanish community? No Spanish? Any other nationalities that do not speak English? So all English-speaking persons in the Windward Islands? How sweet. Yeah. No Chinese, no Syrian, nothing. Okay. Well, in the Leeward Islands, we have a lot of Spanish, right? Mhm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So there have been situations where there are clubs which have different nationalities living among them, and they don't want to start like a branch club to serve that particular community need because they feel that that club is going to take away from the sponsorship that they usually get from businesses. That is not diversity, that's selfishness, because you have effectively cut out a cross section of a community that needs to be served. So the key ethical principles in service: honesty and transparency. So be truthful in fundraising, resource allocation, and project planning. Accountability. Leaders and members must take responsibility for their actions. Respect and fairness. Treat all members and beneficiaries with equality and dignity. And then there's commitment to service. Always prioritize the needs of the community over personal gain. What is our motto? We serve ourselves. We serve who? So what is our main purpose as Lions and Leos? to serve the less fortunate, to serve the community? Did it say anywhere in all of the charter documents and ethics and everything else that we come here to serve ourselves? So we should be able to put our personal needs aside to serve the community. Key aspects of diversity in service. We look at cultural diversity. So even though you may not have a Spanish community, you do have other cultures among you. So you have to understand and respect different traditions and customs. Sometimes we as Caribbean people are very intolerant. As soon as a specific group comes, you tell them, "What am I kind of go back home? I bang water come here." Yes? Yeah. And we don't respect their traditions and customs, but you want them to respect yours. You look at generational diversity, and that's engaging young Leos and experienced lions for knowledge sharing. We have any knowledge hoggers in our club? They keep all the information to themselves. They don't share anything with anybody. And as soon as you need something, you have to run, come to them. And then it's 10 years before they even respond to you with the information that you need. Gender and ability inclusivity. So ensuring equal opportunities for leadership and participation. But as you notice now, there's a shift from a male dominant club to female dominant club. So we have a lot of work to do in terms of gender equality amongst the members in our clubs. So an example of an inclusive community project. So a diverse Leo Club planning a literacy program would offer materials in multiple languages, consider accessibility for individuals with disabilities, and include different perspectives to make learning engaging for all. That's just a simple example. And I'm sure you can think of others. So when you are planning your projects, think of the diverse groups among you in your society. You have disabled, you have people who are illiterate, you have a lot of single mothers with a lot of children who cannot afford to get certain services. So think of the different diverse groups among you and ensure that your projects are inclusive. So the benefits of ethics and diversity. It builds trust. So it ensures honesty and transparency, as well as it creates an inclusive, welcoming environment. It enhances our impact. So it ensures fair decision making and responsible service, and allows for creative solutions from diverse viewpoints. It promotes unity, fosters respect and fairness among members, and it encourages collaboration across backgrounds and experiences. And it inspires leadership. So it develops role models who act with integrity and creates space for diverse leaders to rise. So we have an ethical and diversity dilemma going on here. We're going to have a discussion on this. So the Leo Club of Harmony raised $5,000 through a community fundraiser. The funds were originally planned to support a school supplies program for underprivileged children. However, a senior Lions Club leader suggests redirecting a portion of the funds to sponsor a prestigious leadership conference for a few promising Leos. The leader argues that the conference will help young members grow as future leaders. The investment in leadership training will have a long-term impact on the organization, and other donors may be willing to support the school supplies later. At the same time, several Leo Club members disagree arguing that the fundraiser was promoted as supporting school supplies and changing the purpose violates donor trust. The funds should go directly to the children in need as originally planned, and attending a leadership conference only benefits a few individuals while the school supplies program helps many. So this is your dilemma. You're going to answer these questions. So, is it ethical to change the use of donated funds after the fundraiser has ended? Why or why not? Who wants to answer?
Thank you. Okay, so it's unethical to change the use of the donated funds because, first of all, what it was advertised for, the purpose, what the public was informed the purpose of the project for, was clear. Also, as we indicated, the donor was aware. They funded the project based on what was communicated to them the purpose of the project is, and the funds have already been solicited from the public. So to change it at that point in time is unethical. And also, the funds being already solicited from the public for the students, for the fund, children's fund, will mean that the individuals who are originally supposed to benefit from the fundraiser will not have the benefits that they're supposed to receive.
Thank you. Any other responses? We're in agreement? Okay. So if only a few Leos get to attend the leadership conference, how should the selection process ensure fairness and inclusivity? How would you answer that? You stumped? Don't know how to answer that question. Real, ethical, and diverse, isn't it? Hmm? Still stumped? Yes? Okay. Why are you even going to be discussing this? Why is this even a question to be answered? The whole purpose of the fundraiser was for school supplies. So why are we even going to address this? This is a non-factor. We're not sending anybody anywhere because we never raised funds to send them to any conference in the first place. So why are we even going to entertain that? If you're going to entertain it. If you're going to entertain it. So is there a middle ground solution that allows both initiatives to benefit? So there's no middle ground because you already advertised that you are raising funds for school supplies. There is no middle ground there. They have to do their own thing. That $5,000 is going for school supplies. So how should the club communicate with donors and members about changes in fund allocation? Do they have to communicate at all? Is there any changing of funds going on? Right. So this is how we address certain ethical issues. If you are going to advertise for a specific cause, then the money needs to go to that specific cause. Now, if you said you are raising funds for your service projects, that's fine because it's a general statement and the Leo Club is a service project. So you can use some of those funds for the Leos because they are a service project. But if you're going to say specifically what you are raising funds for, that money has to go toward what you said, right? So sometimes we shoot ourselves in the foot when we become very specific with certain things. If you said funds are in aid of ongoing service projects, then you have a case because the Leo Club is a service project. But if you're going to say it's for school supplies, it has to go towards that. So strengthening teamwork in service projects. Now, teamwork is the backbone of any service activity. It's not a one man or one woman show. You need everyone's involvement in order for it to be successful. And with working as a team, you achieve greater impact and you foster strong relationships and make service more efficient and enjoyable. Now, this goes back to us when we are planning, setting goals and smarts and everything else and effective communication. You have to set clear goals and roles. Who is the team lead? Which lion is responsible for this particular project? Who are the persons that are going to be working along with this lion? What are their roles? So who's going to be the one that reaches out to the businesses, the schools, if you're doing a school project, the elderly home, whatever it is, who is going to be doing what and what is expected of the rest of the membership on the day of execution of the project or throughout the process. So you have to set clear goals because if you don't do that, everyone is going to think that somebody else is going to do it. And then what happens? Nobody does. And then you end up on the day of the project thinking that everything is fine, only to realize that half of your project was not planned. So you had the beginning and the end, but everything else in the middle was just this mush. So you have to set clear goals and rules. Encourage open and respectful communication. If a member comes to you and says, I spoke with this particular business and they're asking for particular information, you shouldn't say, well, on a bump for deal with them. Why? Because they're asking you for certain things. You can just simply answer. So you should have encourage open and respectful communication. Foster trust and collaboration. How many of you have worked a project with a lion and as a result of that project, you and that lion have become very good friends? You've never seen this side of this person before. This person was in their element and you worked so well together. And from since that point, you and that particular lion or Leo, you share a special bond. That's what happens when you work together, you collaborate. It helps to foster trust and promote diversity and inclusion. We have many diverse groups in our society. As much as possible, we should try to reach as many of them in the projects that we execute. Resolve conflicts constructively. How many of us like conflict? How many of us would prefer to kick the can down the road? That would become somebody else's problem, right? I don't have the time nor stress, then the energy to be stressing myself. The next president can deal with that. Yeah, I know, right? The next president can deal with that. I don't have to deal with it. So we have to resolve conflict constructively. We cannot get away with conflict. We're faced with conflict every day. Deciding what type of shoes to wear with your outfit is a conflict. I mean, which one will make me pop better? You know, it's a conflict. I have 6 pairs of shoes that look really good with this outfit. Which one am I going to wear? It's a conflict. So we experience conflict every day. And not okay, what would you like? What shade of glasses you're going to put on today? I have 5 pairs. So which one goes? Or which tie? Okay, which tie you're going to put on with your shirt today? Because you have 5 ties that pop in too, you know, and all of them will look good with the one blue shirt that's going on for you. So you know which one you're going to wear. Diversity. Okay, then. So we experience conflict every day. Some mild, some might be extreme, but not making a decision is making a decision. Exactly. Silence is definitely consent. And when we don't address problems head on, it becomes a bigger problem. And then you see an organization self-destruct. All because we did not deal with things when they happened. It should be somebody else's problem. You should not, as a leader, be afraid for somebody not to like you. Everybody isn't going to like you, even when you're doing your best. Somebody's going to find a fault with something that you're doing. It's just human. So if it means as a leader, you need to put your foot down, you must do that. You don't have to business about whether or not they don't like you. Your conscience is clear and you're moving right along. We have to celebrate achievements and show appreciation. How many of us say thank you when Lions and Leos do a good job? Thank you. You show appreciation at the end of the year because they've been exceptional Lions and Leos. They've done a lot of work. They went above and beyond. So we have to show appreciation because they didn't have to. And some of them would have given up a lot of their time and effort in order for it to be a success, right? So we have to show appreciation. So a final thought on teamwork. By fostering teamwork, Lions and Leos can deliver more meaningful service, build lasting friendships, and inspire others to join their cause. So we come to the final part, which is fostering sustainable leadership for long-term impact. So sustainable leadership in service organizations. We have to develop future leaders. How many of us are having a leadership crisis right now in our clubs? Can't find anybody to serve on your board of directors. Nobody wants to do it. So we have to mentor and train younger members to take on leadership roles. Encourage Leos to transition into Lions as they grow older. The Leo Club is not a graduating club. We are training persons to carry on the Lions organization. So when they hit 30, do you have a prize giving ceremony and tell them bye? How many of us have Leo Lions in our clubs? Now, you do not have to wait until a Leo is 30 years old to become a Lion. They can transition as a Leo Lion because that is one of the sure ways of keeping them. If you see Leos in your club who have the potential as a Lion, you make them a Leo Lion. They can serve in both clubs. It's just that they cannot serve on 2 boards at the same time. They're a Lion, and it shows that We see potential in you and we see that you are valuable and we don't want to lose you. So don't wait until they reach 30 and say, do you want to become a lion? No, we are going to make you a Leo lion. You are a lion. With Leo benefits until you're 35 years old, give them a reason to stay. So help them through transition. Don't wait until they turn 30 because Lions International automatically drops them from the system. So you don't have to drop them. They will just realize that you are not a member, and that is it. Transition them prior to that period and help them to grow as Lions and Leos. Create long-term service projects. So most of you said that you do have long-term service projects, which is good because it helps to keep you relevant. But how often do you share the successes of your projects with the media? How many of you send your projects to the newspapers to publish? How many? Yes, I see tentative 3 hands going up. So Lions is the best kept secret in your island. Nobody know about y'all. But y'all working though. Some wonderful projects, but nobody seemed to know about it. How do you intend to get people to join your club if you're the best kept secret? I think I was following that recently.
Covered by all the media houses, both print, electronic, it has a national coverage. It's also part of our independent talent.
So you see, and it happened over time because it didn't just have a one-off. Oh, it was great. Maybe we should do it next year. You kept at it and you kept improving it as time goes on. And so now everyone wants to be a part of it. So that is it. Your long-term service projects is supposed to ensure that you remain relevant and everybody knows and associates certain projects with Lions. And all the other projects that you do in between, send them to the newspaper. You should always be in people's faces. Always be in people's faces. So people will join your club because they see things are happening and it aligns with what they stand for. Build strong partnerships. There are some businesses that would love to throw money at you because it's a tax write-off, but you are not coming up with the type of projects that aligns with their mission and values that will help them get the kind of coverage that they're looking for, because businesses want to associate with clubs and organizations and projects that are relevant and make an impact. There's no restriction. That is why you have your core and there's other. Other entails anything, other humanitarian projects. It does not limit you. And we have to stop doing that. Do not limit yourself to the core areas of what Lions, they included humanitarian. Humanitarian is other. Any other project you see necessary in your community, you should do it. And it falls under humanitarian. So you don't have to do everything that's disaster or hunger or whatever related. If there is a need, and where there is a need, so you're going to only restrict your need to the core causes of Lions International? Exactly. So you have to, and also ensure that, make sure that it's not illegal, right? But if there is a specific need and you know that your club is in a position to address it, do something about it. If there are businesses that are willing to assist you, form that partnership. Because at least you know if you can lock them into a 5-year agreement, for 5 years, you have a sustainable project. And during that time, You're trying to ensure that even if they decide to pull out at the end of that time, you would have already made such a great impact that there are other people who are willing to come on board. So make sure that you build strong partnerships. Promote ethical and inclusive leadership. I know that in Barbados, it was Bridgetown Lions Club, I believe. They had a visually impaired president. She was blind, yes. And she served as president. So promote ethical and inclusive leadership. Use your resources wisely. Properly manage your funds. Don't go wasting it on things that serve no purpose. So you have to manage your resources wisely and encourage innovation and adaptability. People have new ideas. They want to share these ideas, but they're just afraid of all the negative Nancy's that are going to come their way. So they just keep the ideas to themselves. But that particular idea might be the one idea that makes your club the best club on island. So we have to encourage innovation and we have to be able to adapt. Change is inevitable. And sometimes there's always this tug of war with older members and newer members. Well, that's not how we do things. Okay, but let's go with that theory. So when you joined this club 45 years ago, you think those issues are still relevant today, 45 years later? Right? We have to be able to change and adapt. The needs back then are not necessarily the needs now. So not because you never did it that way means that somebody doing it a different way isn't going to achieve the type of results that you are looking for. So we need to be able to adapt. So benefits of sustainable leadership will include it ensures continuous service impact in our community. If you don't have any members, do you have a club? And all the wonderful long-term projects you had going on, are they any more? They're dead. Dead with everybody else that left, right? Because you never included me. You never planned ahead. You never valued me. So it ensures continuous service impact in our community, and it develops future leaders who keep the organization strong. It builds a positive reputation and attracts new members and sponsors. If people see that things are happening, they're going to want to be a part of it. If they don't know about you, they're not going to be interested in what you have to offer. Creates long-term solutions rather than short-term fixes. When you see things that are happening in your club administratively wise or anyway, you address it and you put policies in place. And where do we put those policies? In our bylaws. So it prevents it from happening again. And it encourages innovation and adaptability for changing times. Time goes on. It doesn't stand still. Things change, people change, needs change. And we have to adapt and adjust and plan accordingly. So to wrap up, with setting goals, we have to use SMART goals to plan impactful service projects. In terms of effective communication, active listening and teamwork improve service delivery. Ethics and diversity, fairness, inclusion, and transparency build trust and leadership. Teamwork in service. Strong collaboration leads to greater community impact. And with sustainable leadership, developing future leaders ensures long-term success. Are there any questions? I was thoroughly clear, or you're thoroughly confused? Yeah, the former.
Comment on LCI, there is a detailed service planner that ensures that the service chair or whoever it is that's planning the event takes everything into consideration. Who is the manager? What it is that each person, each lion has to do, or non-lion, who is going to be contacting the collaborators or the business spaces. It's detailed right down to the budget. Now, as service chair, I use that and I send it out to the club members. So every club member sees where your name is. You just have to do the furniture arrangements. That's all. That's your little bit of service for this project. Yeah. You have to contact the person who is doing the catering. That's all you have to do. So I think that's working pretty well so far because people see where exactly they need to serve.
Thank you for mentioning that. Lions International makes it very easy for you to function. All of the work is already done for you. They have lots and lots of tools and resources and templates. The service planners are all there for the service causes. Hunger, vision, childhood cancer, it's all there. All you need to do is download it and fill it out. So don't think that you need to go reinventing the wheel. They have done the work for you because they recognize that we're busy and life happens, and it's not all the time we can sit down and do things from scratch. So the information is already there. So take the time to explore Lions International website and you will see the wealth of information that is there. So all the problems that you're facing, they already know about them. They already have the solutions for them. So it's just for you to tap into those resources and use them.
Good morning, Lions and Leos. My contribution today would be on the side of recognition. I don't believe, or I don't see, I should say, that Lions and Leos who are involved in the service projects do get the recognition at the end of the project. I don't think as leaders, we say thank you enough. Imagine the joy of a lion who sees in the newspaper next day their face next to a project, and the lion project leaders thanking them for the work that they're doing. What do you think is going to happen to the next project? Right? The other lions and Leos would want to be part of that because their faces and names are out there, right? So not only are they being influential in the club, but they're also being influential in their communities. So we need to give our Lions and Leos and even our other businesses that support the project that recognition at the end of the project.
Thank you, District Governor, for your comment. Now, I send sometimes a personal thank you for your service. Some lions would say to me, you don't have to thank me. Yeah, so I served. That's what I joined the club for. You don't have to tell me thanks. So I'm just saying sometimes you're not sure if it's to recognize people sometimes.
You still do it anyway. Still do it anyway. Any other questions? No? Okay, if there are no other questions, then I thank you all for your participation and attention.
I think it was a great presentation, very timely, and we are empowered to serve with focus and not just plan a service activity just like this. Langoria mentioned sending thank you notes. Now, the trend I see is that if you're present, you're given thanks. But there are things that are done behind the scene to make what happen first. So if the things that happened before did not happen, you would not have been able to meet at a particular time to do it. So my solution is that you thank all those who participated in the activity, whether you did some things before or you actually were present for it. So sometimes we thank, but we sometimes focus more on those persons who just showed up for the activity. But there are things that happen behind the scene that you need to say thanks to them for. And that could be motivating as well for them. So, Capsec Leandra, thank you for that. Right. So we have some break at the back. You can refresh yourself, and we have some fun activities afterwards. Yes. Yes.